Aries, welcome to my channel. I'm going to get right into the reading. This is your monthly June reading. And what I wanted to let you guys know is that I'm going to be posting the fire signs on Thursday. And I'm also going to be giving away a free reading for every week. At the end of the month, I'm going to be calling out names. So I'll pick 4 names and then I'll read for each person each week, because there's 4 weeks in a month depending on how that goes. But you do have to be subscribed, and you do have to put in your first name and then a flower emoji, and then I'll make a video to announce those winners, and I will put it on a private link and send it to you. Do check my about section if you need any more information. And also, since you know we all have different placements, check out other readings. So that, for example, I'm a Cancer, but I might have my sun in Capricorn and my moon in Gemini, and then you know your other placements. So, and as always, please remember to subscribe. You're gonna see the little button to subscribe here, and then the next video somewhere up here. But I have a whole playlist so you can check that. Since this is the month of June, I've decided to use 11 decks. I just like to have every message at the end, like the messages from the universe, messages, animal messages, oracle message, and then the angel messages. And then we're gonna pick 2 instead of 1 secret card. Oh God, these cards are so slippery. Spirit, can I just please have 1 card, just 1, okay? To see what that card is. Spirit, can I just have 1 little card, please? And I hope you guys are doing well. Today is Friday. You probably won't see, I'm getting a head start on my readings, so I'm trying to cheat over here. It's supposed to be the secret card. I'm already looking at it. Alright guys, next. What do we have, Spirit, for the sign of Aries? Alright, let's put that there. And I'm also using 2 tarot decks. Let's check our energies with this. I'm hearing that somebody this morning had a difficult time with their child. You couldn't get them to stop crying. That's so random. So we have humility. Life has a funny way of teaching us humility. However, the greatest lesson to learn from our tests and trials is not to be bitter, but to be greater. I'm so big on being humble. So big. Like sometimes people are like, oh my God, Priscilla, you have so much, but I would dare sleep on the floor. You know, if words came to words. Really, like humility is everything. You know, just to be humble. I sometimes feel like God gives us people who are humble so much more. What are we doing? Let's check tarot to see how that relates. Spirit, can I have 3 cards, 1 at a time, for the sign of Aries? So it says here, 10 of Pentacles. Having it all looks different from everyone. Wow. This goes right into being humble. Because for a lot of people, money might be everything. But for some people, look at her. Being with her cats, she's happy. So, you know, being humble and thinking that not everything is about money, but rather the things that we love and the people that because it could be people that you like to be around. You know, you might value health more than you value having money. So that's a perfect example. Thank you, Spirit. So for some of you, you know, you're going to have to really take the humble route. If you're that type of person that only focuses on material things. Of course, that's totally different than from somebody humiliating us, right? So don't get that twisted. 1 more, Spirit. These cards are I have these cards in little too, and But the problem with those is that then I can't see the letter. She's definitely a cat lady in this picture. No, no judgment on those who love cats. After having so many pets throughout my life, like I decided that there's nothing like dogs. There's nothing like having a dog. One more, Spirit. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't like to I like for my cards to jump out. All right, Justice. Stick to your truth and everything will turn out fine. So some of you may be going through something legal that you may need to humble yourself. If you're the type of person that's maybe, you're arrogant, you don't hold yourself accountable for things, or it might be somebody who might need to humble themselves because they don't hold themselves accountable for the things that they do. But if they're that person and they've been giving you a hard time, things are going to be, turning in your favor. Justice, it might be a legal matter, but it might just be like justice, in the home. Because you might be having an argument with somebody who's not humble. Who, for example, maybe it's one of your kids that they're like, oh, they want the best sneakers in town. And they won't take the sneakers that cost a little less, right? I know that when I was growing up and I was a teenager, I was not humble. Yeah, and so you're going to have a choice, right? If it is a situation with somebody and if it's a legal matter, or if you're having a situation with somebody where they're, not being humble, you're going to have to make a choice and say, well, either things turn around or I'm just going to go on this different route. And in the end, either you or that person is going to get burned. If you guys don't make a choice from a humble place. Because sometimes, when there's battles, that's part of the problem. People are arrogant, stubborn. They lack that humbleness to be able to come back together in unity and do this, right? Talk. Sit down and just really have a conversation. Because look at her, she's being so compassionate. She has her hand on her shoulder, like, you know what? I'm not trying to, come from a arrogant place, or, I don't mean to be nasty. I'm just trying to have a civilized conversation with you. And that's fair, right? That's the fair justice. To be able to hear people out, to be able to have compassion, to be able to see things from a different perspective. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hangman comes out. All right, so the Ace of Cups. So it's telling open up your heart. Open up your heart to be able to make the right decision. Because God is giving you that, right? For you to have new feelings, for you to be able to deal with your friendships. So this is like new friendships coming in. So it may just be like, this is a problem with a friend, right? So take it as it resonates. It might be that you're going to need to consider, maybe you had an issue with a friend. And then once, you guys find like that courage to make up, to speak up, to come to an understanding, to, what's the word? I always forget. Compromise. Right? So you're focusing on your goal, which is, in this case, your goal in this relationship. What's the goal? Ask yourself that question. What is my goal in this relationship? Is it to make up with this person? Is it to get them to say the truth so that we can reach a fair agreement? Because that's also the message here. Somebody's like holding back, not saying what they need to say. Yeah. And there's going to be a death and a rebirth. So like something dies in order for something better, because transformation has to happen, right? If the Tower were to come out, then you will know, because the Tower, to me, and death are about transformation, right? But I think that the Tower happens first and then we transform. It's like an awakening. So if Judgment comes out, I also wouldn't be surprised, because Judgment is about forgiveness. Judgment or the Star. Oh God, oops, I didn't notice 2 cards came out. Yeah, so for some of you, when you have the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Swords that speaks her mind. She's not thinking like, with her heart, Because sometimes, like, for example, if you're a boss, right, you have to think business. You can't always be thinking with your heart. You have to be like logical, right? You have to be communicate clearly. So you're gonna have to communicate clearly in order for you to get your message across. And then you have the Five of Pentacles. Let me just tell you the signs. So we have Taurus, we have Scorpio, and the number 5, 1, 4, 2. Wow, you have the number 4 twice. Yeah, you have the number 4 2 times, so even the number 8 might be significant. But and you might be needing somebody's help, right? Maybe you need to step away from what's happening in the situation with a friend, with a lover, or whatever, and ask for help. And as always, I always say, speak up, because these people, right, they're just walking, feeling miserable, feeling like there's nothing there, it's snowing. This one has crutches. It's almost like everything is falling apart. But meanwhile, there's 5 pentacles, and the number 5 is also transformation. I take it as transformation because it's almost like at the middle for you to reach, you know, the 5 more steps for number 10 for the completion. So, you know, don't be so harsh on yourself, and think things through to decide and do what you need to do. All right, now let's check love. Let me check my time. All right. Wish you could put yourself in my shoes to understand how I feel. All right, so perhaps, you know, the lack of this person being humble maybe stands for something else. Because you might be judging them, right? Back to the card of justice, because justice also has to do with judging and those sorts of things, right? Because when you get mostly for justice, you're in front of a judge. So this person just might be feeling like I can open up to her or to him because I don't know how they're going to take it. You know, and there's other reasons. They'll never like put themselves in my shoes in order to understand. But the thing is that we all go through different things, right? So we can never really, we could be empathetic, but we will really never know what another person is feeling. Like I could come up to a person and be sorry for your loss if they lost a significant, you know, a family member. But I will never know what that feels like. And I didn't know until I lost my little sister. Right? I could just say that to people, but I never really knew what that was like until I went through it. Alright, challenges are to overcome and bring us to a stronger bond. They're not supposed to break us apart. So you are going through a challenge. But this might not be a challenge that's going to break you guys apart. You know, being able to have that conversation might bring you guys closer. But that can go either way, right? It can be a death for transformation and a new beginning for you together. Or it might be a death and transformation and a new beginning for you separate. If this person isn't willing to change and be humble. If they're going to continue. Because you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. Right? At some point it's like, alright, if I'm not going to see anything, then let's just go our separate ways. So this might also be somebody who has like that like street kind of energy. Like, you know, like a thug. And that's why this person is so stubborn. Like very, you know, machista is what I'm getting. So that's why it's hard for you to speak to them. But perhaps you just have to have that empathy. You know, sometimes we just need a little hug to get our love message across. Maybe in saying, you know, you have to be in my shoes, by showing that affection, you're going to get them to feel comfortable, to feel like they feel safe, to be able to open up. Because this person or you may have opened up about certain things, but not about other things. You know what I mean? And in tapping that, you might come to a place where you're like, okay, now I understand. Now I see why you haven't been humble, why you've been acting so stubborn. I don't know why Spirit's calling me to do one more. And you know, for some of you, this is going to lead to marriage. And sometimes we have to go through those struggles, right? To see, like I said, what's going to bring us closer. But for some of you, this is going to lead to marriage. This is going to lead to, okay, you know what, let's do this. Let's take the leap of faith. Because again, the worst that could happen is that you're going to get a no, or things aren't going to work out. You know, so Let's get message from the universe. Universe, what do you have for us today for the sign of Aries? And Aries can be very stubborn. If that's you, or if this person is also an Aries, fire signs are very stubborn. What's meant to be yours is already making its way to you. What was never yours is starting to flee from you. Wow. With time, it would all make sense. For now, bear the confusion and focus on living fully in the present. Don't let your whole life be, I'll be happy when. Be happy now. Okay? So, in other words, if you're seeing that this person maybe is going to walk away, or maybe you both are going to make that decision, then if they're meant to walk away, then you need to let it go. Right? And then you need to understand that maybe for now things don't make sense and you're confused. But maybe as time goes by, you're probably going to be like, that was the best thing. Or you stood with that person and you're going to be like, I'm glad that I stood with that person. But be in the moment. Don't worry about, what could it be? What this? Or, if I walk away, am I going to wonder what could have been? So just live in the moment, in other words. Live in the moment, and the moment is right now, right? To be able to talk about whatever you need to be talking about. All right, turtle. So basically, turtles, they're calm. They walk slowly, they take their time, they're not trying to rush for anything. Not even if food was in front of them will they try to rush. The turtle wisdom teaches us about walking our path in peace and sticking to it with determination and serenity. You may be encouraged to take a break from your busy life and look around or within you for more grounded, long-lasting solutions. So this is what this girl is doing here, right? She's sitting there, just taking her time, thinking things through. But when it is all said and done, you're going to walk your path in peace. Because at some point, it's like I always say, nothing lasts forever, right? Pain, it doesn't last forever. It's a storm. Just like happiness doesn't last forever, right? Everything always has its balance. Things, we go through the storm. We may not go through a storm. And when we're not in the storm, then something is going to put us in a storm moment. 0606. It says commitment, loyalty, responsibility, truth, love, light, spiritual. What does this say here? Spiritual realm, growth, solution. So you might be finding a solution. Applying honesty and light daily is a fast track to creating a peaceful and meaningful life. It's how you find solutions and comfort. Release worries by speaking your truth, wow, and expressing emotions regularly. Open up for the best is yet to come. So commitment comes out again. But I'm also hearing that if you decide to stay with this person, don't let things, so you're going to get together and resolve this, right? But then moving forward, don't hold things. Speak about it. Don't let it build up to the point that you're going to feel resentment towards the person, because you might be living together, and if you're not saying anything, the other person doesn't know what they did wrong. So it's just like it just builds resentment. So, just speak your truth. Always speak your truth and have that confidence, and it all boils back to being humble. Don't think, what could happen. Just have that confidence. Let's take an angel message. Okay, King of Raphael. Yes, it is safe to trust. Wow. The ability to accomplish many things at once. Follow your creative passions. Let me see something here. All right, so for some of you, aside from what I've been saying, you might need to follow something that you're passionate about, right? Something that's creative. Aside from you following your passion of going back to this person, trying to work things out, for some of you, you might be reluctant to start something new. and follow like something relating to being creative. And I'm getting very clearly like somebody who paints, like an artist who like paints. I'm getting that really, really clearly. So that's aside from everything else we've been talking about. So our first secret card is release. In this moment of completion and illumination, release what no longer serves you. So I'm feeling strongly that there are more people who are going to be letting this person go rather than the some of you that are going to be staying. Because this is this is like in the moon, right? So now it's like some moons aren't that bright to show you what's there. Because for the most part, when there's a moon, it's almost like we have to surrender and we have to walk the path even though we're not seeing clearly, right? That's what the moon is all about. You take a risk. That's why when you get the moon card in tarot, it's like, fears of what you don't see because everything is not clear in front of you. That's why a lot of people, I don't like going out at night because I'm not seeing. If I go out at night, if I'm not driving, I'm like walking in the street because that's how my friends taught me when we were teenagers. They were always like walking the street. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment, I was just saying, do not hold on to resentment. Blocks the flow of love. To the point. To the point. Because that blocks you. That just blocks you. Because now it's like, you can't speak to this person because you're upset, because you're holding that resentment. But you have to forgive. If you're planning to go back to this person, these are one of the topics you need to be talking about. Forgiveness. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Forgiveness. Coming to the understanding of saying, let's put the stubbornness away, the arrogance, the jealousy, the pettiness, and just be humble. I have nothing else to say about this reading. It's clear. Thank you, Spirit, as always. I pray really, really hard before these readings begin because I just want the best that I can get. So we're going to do some letters. So for you to know who this person's first and last name might be, because only you know that. So we have W. We have Y. We have X. I'm hearing Xavier. Y. Oh, I'm hearing the name Ivelisse, starting with a Y. U. And T. So those names are what I'm hearing clearly, so random. Alright guys, so as I said, check out my about section if you want to join in and win a personal reading. It's 4 people a month. Until then, please take care. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can continue to get these readings. And then check out the next video, as I said, because maybe your placements, your moon, sun, and everything else is somewhere else. Thank you guys. God bless and one love. Take care.